Got you. Play Alberta. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Different milestones on this night for the Edmonton Oilers. Adam Henrique, game number 1,000. Stu Skinner, win number 100. Connor McDavid, goal number 1 on the season. And most importantly, the Oilers salvage a win as their road trip comes to an end. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Post-game edition. Looking forward to breaking this one down. We got Struds, we got Zuby, and a little bit later on, Rob Brown will be checking in as well. As always, Got Your Back is presented by our title sponsor, Timber House Developments. Have you ever considered adding a garden suite or laneway home for aging parents or loved ones? The team at Timber House can help design and build the perfect space for your property with a focus on naturally inspired living. They create warm, thoughtful spaces that enhance the lives of your loved ones. Timberhouse.ca is where you can go to check out all that they have to offer. All right, as we check in with Jason Strudwick and Chris Sabunia. Solid win for the Oilers, guys. We'll get to all elements of breaking that thing down. But Struddy, first time on air with you here since Game 7. I need to let you guys wax poetic a little bit about the excitement that was yesterday. I watched the game too. Tons of fun, tons of excitement. And this will be a fun little ride here through the World Series.
Zuby, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I had to laugh because my parents were here. They traveled home today. They're almost home. And but they were like, when the Jays were down 3-1, they're like, my dad was like, it's over. Then Springer hits that home run and we're all like so excited. He's like, hey, it's not over. It was over when they were down, but it wasn't over when they were winning. Man, I mean, so many storylines. And I think maybe Struddy and I are going to talk a little bit about this tomorrow morning as well, or afternoon. That the Jays have just been, home fans in Toronto have been privy in the last 20, or I guess since 93, into a number of late game 3+ run home runs that have been series clinchers. It's amazing. So, I mean, I can't even imagine what it would have been like to be there, Struddy.
Yeah, I would have been nuts. And you know what? I just love this team. I love the individual. There's no one I don't like. And that's pretty rare, you know, and I think that when you, I mean, I'm not from Toronto, so I'd never run into the guys, but they just all look likable. Even their celebration after, they're in there, like there's a disco ball in that dressing room. Like, you just want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of that action. So yeah, just an awesome, awesome team. And they've got a lot of work to do now against the Dodgers, but what they've accomplished was beyond anyone's wildest imagination when we started back in April.
Yeah, that was for sure a fun ride. And one of those moments happening where, whether you're a baseball fan or not, you know, families gathering that have not watched baseball all year. My family all gathered in the living room, a bunch of us watching the game and such. So it'll be a fun ride watching this moment happen. I know you guys will talk a lot more about it tomorrow on Struddy's World. Reminder, 12 to 1 o'clock, Struddy's World is back. I think episode 3 of season 2. So look forward to that, 12 to 1 o'clock tomorrow live on all of our channels. Okay, 'twas a game tonight. Oilers nearly spit the bit, but in overtime, Jake Walman comes up big, and the Oilers pick up a much-needed win to finish off this road trip, and that is where we will get going on our breakdown, brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Remember, during every Oiler game day at the Canadian Brewhouse, enter at any Edmonton and area location. It'll be your chance to win Oiler home game tickets, plus enjoy $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards as well. Edmonton-born and Canadian-operated. We all know it's the spot to go to if you really want to watch the game out and about. That is the Canadian Brewhouse. Struds, it was very clear early on in this game that the Oilers were bringing better stuff to the rink. They had some more mojo. They had some more pop. We'll get to what happened later on in the game. But fair to say, from 97-29 on down, the team just recognized 3 straight losses is where this thing had to end.
They decided to bring it, right? We're gonna get going. We got to get this win. And they did, I'd say, for the first 25 minutes of the game or so. and then kind of let their foot off the gas. We've got this one, and Ottawa's a team that was a playoff team as well, so they know how to go, and they kind of got going, and then we got to get going again. They got going again. So um, Oilers fans, the Oilers are a good team, and when they play the way they can, they're a really good team. But there are just I just feel they're having a tough time staying in that zone, Schauger, for 60 minutes at a time because of where they've been the last couple summers or springs.
Yeah, keeping it dialed in, keeping it dialed in long enough to make sure. And tonight they almost didn't. Let's go to the beginning of the game, those Struds, specifically with McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, we were chewing on those guys pretty hard after the last game, but all the things that they were not doing. And I think Louis said it on the broadcast tonight. We've heard Connor say it. It's about playing connected. And tonight it just felt like passes that were bouncing off their sticks the last few games were tight. Their details were tight tonight, and it just allowed for that high octane feel to it where you just sensed something was probably coming from them.
So you hear the people always, I hate hockey cliches. Well, there's cliches in every sport, but the details do matter. So I think that when I make a pass and it's on someone's tape or close to them, they need to accept that and hold on to it. And now they've got that play. Now they can make the next play. Then you make the next play. And every time you make a pass that is on the tape, you gain a small amount of time and space for yourself. But if you move it quick enough again, now the next person online has more than you do. It's like compound interest, right? It just keeps building and building and building. And we're not talking about, 20 seconds. We might have, instead of no time, you might have 1 second at the end, the second guy at the end of the pass. Brownie says you make 3 tape-to-tape passes. That guy's probably scoring a goal or getting a good chance. And that's the truth. So that is why, Brownie and I harp on the details of being on the tape, making plays on the tape, moving the puck faster, all those types of things that the Oilers are so good at, and they're so skilled, whether it's Connor Lee on the top or you get all the way down to Adam Henrique on the fourth line. He's not as fast as he used to be, but he's smart and he understands the value of those passes. So when your big guys are doing it, it sure makes everyone look a lot better because they're doing it, and then it just kind of floats down the lineup.
Yeah, and I think we all thought the same thing very early on in that game when McDavid wired the shot from the slot. We all went, okay, like that's very intentional. He's in a shooting mentality tonight. And then Struds, to his goal, I mean, he didn't just get that on his stick and kind of fire it towards the net. He paused for a second and sniped. It was a real sniper style goal for McDavid that I think for a guy who hasn't been feeling it on the goal scoring front, I like the fact that he buried that the way he did.
Yeah, like a catch and shoot, right? He's there and he was ready for it. He knew it was coming on his tape. He was going to catch it and release it. It wasn't a one-timer. It was more like a catch and shoot. That's what I love seeing from him. And just he goes far side shelf on the netminder. He can't get out quick enough to take away that angle because he has to respect. I think it was Leon coming around the net. So well set up play in the right place to make that quick shot. And I mean, Connor, there was a lot of talk about him getting, him wanting to shoot more. And I get it. And he had 3 shots tonight, which is good. But you got to put yourself in those positions. And then once you are there, be ready to shoot it. And he was all those things for that goal tonight.
Should give some kudos to Evan Bouchard as well, who we've been hard on so far this year, rightfully so to a degree. But really nice pinch down the wall, Struds. Like, when he goes and does it, makes that decision, he's good at it, smart play. Then we saw him a little bit later on in the game with some really nice work defensively. Tonight was a night where it was, for the most part, outside of his first handle where he bobbled the puck and turned it over. But after that, he was solid tonight, made some good plays at both ends of the ice. And you could tell he was a guy that just really wanted to make sure he got back over onto the right side of the ledger.
Yeah, a step in the right direction. Still not the highs we've seen him at, but to be honest, I don't think anyone is on the Oilers right now. So let's not just think, I don't want to single him out. To think about pinching, if you decide to pinch after the pucks are in motion to that guy, it's too late. You have to be pre-pinching, already be in motion towards that guy being the winger before it even starts. So when you're playing, that's when you're playing on your toes, you're making those type of pinches. When Evan or any D-man is not playing on their toes, Schauger, that is when they get trapped halfway between where they're supposed to be or where they can be on the blue line and or pre-pinching on that winger. And that's when you're in trouble. And you see the puck get chipped around you. Now it's a 2-on-1, and you're skating back thinking, oh God, please don't score, because when I get to the bench, I'm going to get it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the Iceman cometh. Ike Howard with his first National Hockey League goal, Struds. We've been talking a lot about him on the show. Should he be here? Should he be in the minors? They apparently are going to have a lot of patience with him, and we'll hear from Chris Knobloch in a moment about Ike Howard. But nice goal-scoring moment there. The thing that impressed me, just a tiny little stutter step to fade into a little bit more of an open spot than he was, which gave Leon's going to find him every time there. So nice goal scorer's touch there.
So as a defender, I'm looking in that situation thinking, okay, I've got my stick in the right place because I'm between Leon and Howard. And what Howard does, he blows snow, and I keep back, or the defenseman in this case just keeps backing up. And now my stick is no longer in that passing lane. So that's all on Howard. That's not Leon making that play for Howard. That is, and creating that passing lane for him. That is Howard recognizing that the D-man is in the way, blows snow, slows down, boom. Now all of a sudden that's a direct pass. He's able to get that shot off. Really nice area of job of finding that some space. So he's available for the goal, and he's been waiting for that for a long time. So I mean, it's a great play, and I think it's important for him that goal comes from Leon or Connor, and that it was a legit goal. That was a goal scorer's goal, getting himself open like that.
Here is the Iceman.
I was just kind of coming out of the box, and I think Davo might have disrupted a play or something. Leo had the puck, and we had kind of a quick strike 2-on-1, just try to get open, and he had a nice find.
About your NHL debut just a couple weeks ago in Edmonton, and you had so many family and friends there. So what do you think they're kind of feeling right now?
Oh, I'm sure they're just super excited. Obviously I bet Tyler are watching tonight, and I'm sure they had a little celebration back at home.
All right, one of hopefully many for Ike Howard in his NHL career. He needed that. Needed something good to happen. Talked earlier in the interview about how it's just good to have it go in, right? Guys that are wired the way this guy is wired, Struds, need to put their hands in the air and feel good and kind of fill that swagger bucket a little bit. So I'm kind of interested to see where this will take Ike Howard. We'll continue that conversation in our takeaways segment. That's where we're going to go a little bit later, because Chris Knobloch shed a little bit of light onto the organization's plan for Howard moving forward and how they're going to handle him. So everything is going well. Oilers are out to this 2-0 lead. They're off the schneid. Everything's pointed in the right direction. Oh, and now a power play opportunity, Struds, and a chance to make it 3-0 with the big guns out on the ice, cocked and loaded and ready to go. And man, did that ever backfire. If I've ever seen a power play kill momentum in a game, that was it.
Lack of urgency. There was very little urgency in that. And they know, like these guys, as you know, not every one of them, but they know that you step on the throat like that of Ottawa and it's over. Now, ironically, they were 2 for 3 in the power play today, which is great. Unfortunately, they needed that was that was the one they needed. And I think the game would have been over at that point, heading into the second intermission with a 3-0 lead. Unfortunately, they don't get it done. And I would suggest they even lost the momentum in that situation. And, back come the Sens, a penalty at the end of the period. And now they're in trouble. It gives Ottawa a sense that they have a chance. And you don't want to give a team that's doubting themselves a feeling like they have a chance heading into the last period.
It was funny. Even Stoff in the intermission was like, I don't like the way this feels. Yeah. Even you can tell he was just like, this is not going the right way. No shots on net, power play sputtering, just really the details fell out. The details that they brought with them in the first period and the things that they were having success with, they just, details like you said, got a little complacent and lackadaisical. So then the third period starts and boom, that happened so fast. Couple of goals in, a minute 36. Didn't like the board battle from Ekholm on the wall there, Struds, on the 2-1 goal. What did you see?
It was before that, and we've given someone some love, and I'm about to kick him in the junk here. So going back into their zone, Evan Bouchard has the puck on his forehand. I guess it depends. He's going back to the puck on his forehand, and instead of turning up ice and firing it all the way down the ice on his forehand, He decides to throw one back up the wall and kind of handcuffs Nugent Hopkins on the wall. Now, there were Senators pressing down there. Yeah, there was 2 Oilers in that area, but the open ice was all in the middle. So he just takes a turn in the middle, and he'd be on his forehand. He's not turning to his backhand. He's on his forehand, and he can rip that down. There was no one around him. He would have had time. He wasn't getting pressured from the middle. He could have turned and ripped it down. So a lot of good things from Evan tonight. But, when you're killing penalties, and with that stick handling and the poise he has of the puck, just turn, rifle it down. Just get it down. But when you're maybe doubting yourself, you're trying to get it off your stick quickly in a penalty killing situation. So tough play by him. Everything that happens after that, to me, doesn't matter. That is the
Really?
play that
Come
is
on.
not 100%.
You still got to win a
100%.
board battle if you're
No.
at home. You got caught on the
100
wrong side of the.
Why should he
It
be in
doesn't
that?
just erase because Bouchard made a
100%.
mistake before him.
100%. 100% it does.
Come on.
But buddy, he threw the puck in from a situation he could turn and fire it down the ice to now it's a 2-on-2 on the wall. Not even.
But it
everything
doesn't
after
let guys
that to
off
me,
the hook
it's irrelevant.
for
100%
making
it does.
bad plays after that.
100%. They shouldn't have had to been forced in that situation. So
Wow.
I completely disagree with anything that happens after that is irrelevant. The play should have been down the ice. So lesson learned from Evan. That's just it. I put it all on him on that goal.
So is there only one lesson for a player to learn on any given goal against? So here's a goal against. You decide who made the mistake and nothing else matters. There's only one lesson to be learned. I think multiple players can make multiple errors and they all need to be accountable for them on a given goal against, Struddy.
I disagree. In this situation, I could not disagree more. Your job as a D-man, when you're going back to get the puck, is to find space to ice it down the ice. And he chooses to go from his forehand. I keep saying that. He's on his forehand and could fire it down and throws a puzzle up the wall from his backhand. So he's on his forehand and he throws a puzzle that someone has to put together like a Rubik's Cube in 10 seconds. Doesn't work. It is 100% on him. And I say again, everything after that is irrelevant. Turn off the VCR.
All right.
Don't
Can't
watch
wait for Brownie. Can't wait for Brownie to check in. We can get his thoughts on
Sure.
that too. Is there only one mistake on that goal that really, really matters? Can't wait for Brownie to check in. How about the 2-2 goal? Happened really fast, just a minute 36 apart. I believe that was Brett Kulak with a tough turnover, was it not? And then not doing a great job boxing out in front.
Yeah, Louis really went off on that. I loved it.
Louis was frustrated.
Yeah, he kept saying, hey, you've got to clear people out in the front. So let's just talk about what happened. So Kulak tries to go D to D, and he's too heavy on the passover. So now we're in trouble, right? Now, maybe you got to get to Emerson there a little bit quicker, but just a little bit too much sauce or heat on that. It rims around. Now we're all just chasing. Puck goes to the blue line, and Kulak's trying to front it. So what I feel is Kulak's trying to front his man and trying to block that shot because he lost the battle. And as a D-man, you don't want the opposition players having middle of the ice. And both of them were middle of the ice. And the Oilers, one was stacked in front. In the case of Kulak, one was to the right of the other Sens player. And they were just, I think it was Cousins. They weren't in the right place. So when that happens, you've got to just gear in and start pushing guys out of the way for Emerson. You have to clear someone out. And I believe it was Cousins he was beside. He's got to push him right through, get right out of there. Or if you're fronting, you got to block it. You can't not block it because if you're fronting, and let's say the puck gets knocked down by Skinner, guess who turns and has inside position again that they've already had before. So it really tough sequence there for those two guys. But sometimes they get on the inside of you, but you have to reestablish yourself in that middle ice, and Emerson's strong enough to push Cousins out of the way. That's not Tom Wilson there.
Okay, so it's 2-2, and all of a sudden, Oiler fans' sphincters are a little tighter. Oiler bench is probably feeling like, oh man, like another loss on the tail end of this road trip would be a major kick in the pills. Long ride home would be no good, right? They kind of spit the bit. Ottawa's back in it. I thought the Oilers did a pretty good job after 2-2 to kind of dig in a little bit and kind of find the quality in their game, Struds, though they didn't find a goal. I don't know if you agree with how they reacted to that 2-2 happening, because that's a real little smack of adversity on a night where they thought they were heading in the right direction.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought they'd gotten soft a little bit at the end of the second period, and so they kind of let the Sens back into it. But what I like is that they found their game again, and they
Yeah.
started going. They started skating, and it wasn't just the big guys. Savoy had some. I thought Savoy could have had 2 goals in the one shift for sure. He
Mhm.
was really buzzing tonight at different parts of the game. Noah Phillips line I thought had some moments. So everyone was kind of creating and kind of got themselves going again after that goal and had a few moments heading as they went deeper into to the end of the game.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner solid as well. We'll push that into our takeaway segment. We want to hear from Stuart Skinner, who got win number 100, and we'll talk about his performance as well. So you head into overtime, and nice pass from Leon Draisaitl, feathering it through. Evan Bouchard, a smart play cut into the net, and clear penalty. The hands get cracked, and now the Oilers are on the power play. Again, the top unit really sputtered their Struds. They sort of failure to launch there. Didn't really have anything that looked too dangerous. And it wasn't until they skated off the ice that the guy waltzing his way back into the lineup, sauntering his way back in, goes full howitzer from the blue line to finish it. Jake Walman enters the chat this season.
It was nice to see the second power play unit get out there. Oh, hold on. They didn't. They didn't get out there. My bad. So yeah, so the big guys, the 3 guys stayed out there for a long, the 4, I should say, they stayed out there for a long time. And then Nugent Hopkins had been out there, and so had Connor Leon. So they all go off with Bouchard. And out come, I believe it was Mangiapane, Savoy, and Walman and Ekholm. Mangiapane gets kicked out of the faceoff circle. So in goes Savoy. And I'm like, oh man, how's this faceoff going to go? He won it. Tap back by Ekholm, and Ekholm puts it on the tee for Walman, who walks in, who's never seen a one-timer. He doesn't like to shoot. Great moment for Walman for sure, and he just absolutely unleashed it. I don't think that the netminder there, Allmark, sorry, my bad. Yeah, Allmark, I don't think he moved. But even better moment for Matty Savoy. In that moment to win that face-off, wasn't expecting to take the draw, but he wins it back. And it leads to a goal. And I people, the analytics community doesn't believe in faceoffs. I do, because in that moment, it sure matters. And it mattered for Savoy, it mattered for the Oilers.
Love that draw win, as you point out, from Savoy. The right shot, center getting in there, right? That key moment. The Oilers have been looking for that guy that can win that draw. Nice help from Ekholm there, as you said, and then Walman just crushes it.
Oh, geez.
Just a great shot. And Walman has that in his game. The guy can do some pretty impressive things offensively. And he's got some cockiness and some swagger, funny little celebration at the end. Let's fire right into the Weiss Johnson sound box and hear from the guy who got the game winner. The end of season AC sale is on now from Weiss Johnson until the end of October. Get up to 20% off any in-stock air conditioners. Visit wjjingle.com for exclusive specials. That's just for Got Your Back jingle lovers. Once again, that is wjjingle.com.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Overtime winner. Got to let it breathe a little here. Jake Walman. Short and sweet.
I know the puck was on edge, but yeah, that was the face-off play. It was supposed to be a shot, so yeah, just let it go.
There you go. Just let it go. That's all he did, Struts. He just let it go. The blue line's different with Jake Walman in there, man. His stats line tonight for his first game, 1851, the goal. But he also had 4 block shots, couple shots on net, 1 hit. But there's a puck-moving element that he adds that is kind of game-changing when you think Stetcher out, Walman in. Just the quality, and nothing against Stetcher. Like, a good, honest player works hard. There's a puck moving that comes with this player that is greatly needed.
Yeah, that's really well said. Much bigger player. Well, bigger player for sure. Much stronger. Just as competitive, Stetcher, and a bomb, and an absolute bomb that, it opens opportunities for other people to, get points off of that or to go to the net, other than when just Bouchard or Ekholm are out there, right? And Nurse likes to shoot the puck too. So changes a complete look at that back end. And that's been a big issue for them. not having Walman in this lineup. The challenge now will be, continue to play well until you get Hyman back. And then you have two significant pieces of your team, a top 4D man and a top winger. That's a lot to be missing, out of your lineup. So I think that it does make a difference when he's in there, for sure, the way he moves that puck. But there's other elements of his game that I love as well.
For sure. Needs to stay healthy, boy. They need that player in the lineup. And then when you consider Alec Regula potentially coming back, and what we saw in the early going from Regula leads me to believe he's going to push Ty Emberson hard for a lineup spot. And so if now you've got some nice puck moving in Regula, we'll see how it goes, and you've got Walman in there, really interested to see that blue line all together, Struds, and what that potentially could look like. We'll see how Regula looks if or when he comes back, but some significant upgrades available for the Oilers considering where they were a couple of games ago. All right, that was our breakdown brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. New feature here on the show in conjunction with our partners over at Play Alberta. Not sure if you saw on our Twitter feed today, but Zuby hopping in with a line that we like the look of. And these are our storylines, and they are presented by Play Alberta. So Zuby, we were featuring something today from Connor McDavid in terms of Play Alberta. They gave us a little boost, and one that actually came through tonight. We were looking at McDavid and scoring some goals.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the point of where we kind of want to go with this segment is it's not necessarily just about making a bet, placing a bet, making something available for our viewers and listeners, but tying into what we know to be the storylines in the upcoming games. So yeah, there it was right there for us. Connor, 6 games in, hadn't scored a goal yet. So that was the choice we went with today. Play Alberta boosted it for us to give anyone betting on the line to get better odds, a better payout, and we hit on it as we had Connor McDavid for an anytime goal, and we are 1 for 1, baby. So good start.
Yeah, no, it was a good story. We were keeping an eye on it coming in, and they gave it a boost, Struds, but I would have found it hard to believe that McDavid didn't either score a goal tonight or kill himself trying to. Like, he was not going to let this keep going any longer than it had.
Well, can you imagine if we're talking 7 games without a goal for Connor McDavid? I mean, just the fact that we're at 5 or 6, it just doesn't seem incredible, or it seems incredible. I know he had, what do you have, 28 goals last year? I want to say something like that, whatever it was. Yeah. So, but I don't know that he went 7 games or 6 games without a goal. So he seemed determined to get one, obviously. At some point, even the top players, maybe they lose a little confidence in what they can do, even though the puck's on their stick the whole game. They maybe I won't ever score again. Well, now he's unlocked it. It was a nice goal. And I would think that that's important for him moving against a team like Montreal that has a lot of game breakers, young game breakers, that he's going to want to, show again who's the top dog.
Connor McDavid coming through on our storyline for tonight. And a reminder, just keep an eye on our social media. Zuby is going to be the one pushing these storylines out every day that we have a show. So basically every game day early on in the day, we'll push out one of our storylines, and Play Alberta will give it a boost. Play Alberta will feature it. You can find our space on the app as well. So we'll have a featured little spot on there. So happy to be running this feature this season, storylines, here on Got Your Back. This NHL season, you can find odds boosts on every Oiler game with Play Alberta. And for a limited time, our listeners can get a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using the promo code GYB50. Saw JL on the chat there asking if we had a promo code going, and we do. It is GYB50. That's our storylines, brought to you by Play Alberta. Struds, let's wrap the segment with our You Can Use Services Relentless Player of the Game. Couple of options, I would say, to send your way tonight. Interested which way you're going to go with this. And we'll remind you that You Can Use Services is a great Edmonton charity, relentless in helping 16 to 24-year-olds step out of harm's way and into meaningful work. Make that change today right here at home. Visit youcan.ca. Really proud to be monthly donors of You Can Use Services, and looking forward to working with them again this season. Who gets the nod, Struds?
You play 1,000 games in the NHL, you get the tap. My boy Rico.
Of course.
Rico
of course.
Gets 1,000. I'm glad no one made mention till now. I think it's incredible when someone plays 1,000 games. He's been a consistent player for a long time. Using his skills and whatever his game sense. And I've been a huge fan of his as a player for well before he came to the Oilers. And so 1,000 games. Congrats to him, and it's an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it looks like they did some pretty cool stuff. The shirts that they have made up, the racing shirts, the family involvement. He'll have the stick presentation coming up here, I believe they said, against the New York Rangers. So pretty cool to see that for a real good guy in Adam Henrique and a good, honest player for a long time in this league. That was our relentless player. Okay, when we come back, we're going to reset. A few other elements we got to dig into in this Oiler win. We'll talk about Stuart Skinner. Let's dig in a little bit on what the plan for Ike Howard is and should be moving forward. What else stood out to us in this game? Brownie will be checking in with Brownie Points. Struddy will have Struddy's World. We've also got Ask Us Anything coming up a little bit later on in the show. So fire your questions and comments in. Zuby is monitoring the stream. Great live audience tonight. Really happy everybody was able to join us. Love the live audience here on Got Your Back. So keep the comments coming. We'll keep the content rolling, and we'll be right back after a break. This is Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse Developments.
Beautiful fences exist. With a wide range of styles and colors from wood grain to white, DLR Vinyl products can make your fencing project pop. Because summers are for chilling and grilling, not sanding and drilling. Go vinyl at dlrvinylproducts.ca. Mainline Water and Sewer specializes in sewer line repair and replacement using advanced trenchless methods for fast, clean results. They provide detailed sewer assessments and scoping to identify problems before they become costly. Serving both residential and commercial properties, no job is too big or too small, and with over 40 years of experience, they've seen it all. Trust Mainline to keep your lines flowing smoothly. This is our takeaway segment brought to you by Shandos Construction. They don't just hire talent, they invest in it. They're now 100% employee owned, so when their people grow, the whole company grows right along with them. Ready to build something that matters? Apply now at shandos.com. That's CHANDOS.com/apply. More on Adam Henrique in a moment here, Struds. Let's talk a little bit about Stuart Skinner. Obviously won the Oilers that game to get the road trip started. And then in this game tonight, I feel Stuart Skinner did the same thing that this Oiler team did. Came out ready to go, ready to be sharp. They let down. I don't think he did. I think he maintained a pretty high level through this game, Struds. I think he was pretty good, made some high caliber saves, I think, in some critical moments. I think this was a really positive performance from him.
Another positive performance, right? If I'm kind of grouping them together, I think he's had, a lot of good games here. And I said it earlier, he's got it, or well before the season, he needs to come out and have a good start to the year. And I think he had one tonight. I mean, the save on Perron. I love when goalies reach out and almost like grab the puck right off the guy's stick. It was a 2-on-0, reached out, and it's nice when your goalie can make a save that probably you're thinking, oh man, that's a goal. That really lifts the bench up, gives you some energy. So I think that he had a good game tonight. Very happy with what he did. You think about the 2 goals, you're like, okay, well, I think for sure the power play one was preventable. Then the one in front, he couldn't see it. He could have maybe pushed out a little more. You see a lot of goalies like Jake Allen push into the people in front and like bump into them and then try to sell it that he couldn't see, and there was goalie interference. But he plays it his way. But I liked his game tonight. What do they have? 21 shots, 2 goals, so he's over 90% save. I'm like, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I think it looks like they backed that off to 20 shots for the Ottawa Senators. But your point remains, 18 saves. So just a couple of notes you make. 2-on-1, made a nice save coming off of a Leon Draisaitl gaff there. There was that 2-on-0 opportunity where he was solid again. Another 2-on-1 save that he made a little bit later on in the it was 2-0 at that point, made that save.
Yeah, I thought there were some good looks from him. And I would say in the early going here, he's had one, some would argue two dicey moments, certainly one really bad one, and then another one that probably wasn't great. But other than that, has been really steady. Let's go to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here is Skinner.
It's actually funny. My first game was against Ottawa. And I'm pretty sure Davo and Leo had 9 points. And I managed to let in 5 still. So it was a pretty tough first game. So, I mean, to say from there to here, I mean, it's been a few years. I think this is my 4th year now in the NHL. And it's been quite the journey. And yeah, I'm definitely miles ahead of that guy when I was 21 years old.
Reflecting back on his first game in the National Hockey League and picking up win number 100, which is a nice little milestone for him, but also Strud's an important win on the trip. Everybody's just going to feel a little better hopping onto that plane.
It's great momentum going back home. Obviously, we got Montreal, then a big back-to-back on the road again. So the first stretch here, I think it's a pretty tough schedule, and for us to being able to finish this road trip off with a win just really helps out because I mean it could have been an ugly road trip, but we were able to manage 2 wins, which is huge.
Let's not kid anybody, Struds. The road trip was still no good. Like, not good enough. Not for what the expectations are on this team this year. Not for the quality of competition that they faced. This result is not a positive one, but it at least ends in a way where they can feel a little better.
Climbing into the airplane tonight, the guys that feel a lot better about it. You leave 1-4, that flight's a long way home from Ottawa. You get the win. At least now, like, okay, we won tonight. We didn't play perfect, but we played better. And I think you just want to keep incrementally improving your game, you know, as you kind of work through the first 10 games. I always think it's about 10 games to get yourself organized and going. And then you can kind of get a sense of where you're at as an individual and as a team. So for sure, they should have won a 1 out. Like 3-2 would have been really nice to come home. They would have been 4-2-1, I think, if that's the case. Feeling pretty decent about yourself. But they do get that win. I think they did play better. They're going to have to put 60 together, though. You know, the next few teams they play, Montreal, Seattle, and then Vancouver, even though Vancouver's having some injury issues, they got to put 60 against these teams to win.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Ike Howard. Scores his first goal tonight. We've been talking recently, Struds, that learning the pro game, it just appears as though the American Hockey League would be a better place for him to be. But remember, they made the trade. They went out and got this guy. It was very clear they were going to take a patient approach to at least the start of the season here. Maybe turning a blind eye to some of those signs that you and I see and others see, and instead say, it's okay. Fewer injuries. You can justify keeping him in. Keep rolling him out there. Let him get his taste. And I wouldn't say that it's been like this overwhelming swing towards him being able to figure it out and do this, Struds, but some little nudges in the right direction. Just some little nudges here and there, and then boom, a nice goal. So here he is. They kept him. They stuck with him. He finds this moment. The question is, what now for Ike Howard?
The whole time I've been thinking about Ike Howard, I'm thinking about the approach they had with Dylan Holloway. And I go back to the first game when he threw Dylan, that is, threw a backhand sauce through the middle, and they scored on him. And then that was it. Okay, that's it. We're done. You have no more time. You're not going to play much. And it just seemed he really never got on track after that very quickly. And now it feels like it feels like a different approach from this coach, Knobloch, saying we're going to continue to play him. Yeah, he's sit out the odd game, or 10 minutes isn't bad tonight. As a fourth line or a third line or whatever it is, it's not bad. The problem is that he's not getting those key moments, right? He's never going to see the power play here. Never going to see it. So that's not happening. You can put me on the second power play unit of this Oilers team. I'm never going to see it. I wouldn't have to dress for the games. He's not killing penalties. So where do you find ice time for him? Extra ice time. Unless he moves up the lineup, Schauger, there's no extra ice time for this player on this team right now. There is in Bakersfield. That's why I still feel he should be down there for a stretch to get those minutes and get those moments and keep his confidence up.
And he could well end up there. But listening to Chris Knobloch postgame, was asked about Ike Howard and the opportunities that he's been given, and if maybe this opens the door for some increased opportunity or more opportunity. And Knobloch actually said, he's going to get a look, especially now. You've got the injury to Janmark, the injury now to Kapanen, which is going to be a little bit longer term. So that buys them some space in the lineup, not necessarily having to play ahead of veterans in the same way as he would if those guys were there. But listen to Knobloch on Ike Howard, and I ask you, does this sound like a coach who is ready to cut bait on a guy and send him down to the minors for a month and a half?
We wanted to see how he plays and see if he can progress and look like an NHL player, and he's looking like that. He's starting to get more involved, moving his feet a little bit better. It's not that he's, deer in the headlights kind of thing where you playing in the NHL the first couple of games, it can be a little difficult. He's been contributing. He's making some plays. There's going to be down games, but overall, I like where he's going right from first day of camp.
I like where he's going right from first day of camp. Thing about Howard is each time he's gone to another level, it's taken him a little bit of time and then he figures it out and then pops a little bit. That's kind of been his progression. And maybe they know this about him, Struds, and are just willing to let it breathe a little bit here.
The injuries definitely help. For sure. Buy him time. There's no rush to make a decision. But where are they going to get this extra ice time? Is he really going to play up beside Connor and Leon, one of those two guys, for a long time? He's not getting on the power play. He's not getting on the penalty kill. So short of moving up the lineup, and in 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to have another forward back up there in Hyman. So is it automatically, Nuge, Hyman, and McDavid, are they back together? Then Mangiapane with Leon and, I don't know. Maybe that's Savoy. Maybe it's, I don't know. I just don't see the path for him getting more ice time, I guess. Shoggers. Yeah. What that's basically my end story.
Well, and at a certain point, he needs to beat the door down. At a certain point, they're going to stop just giving you a seat at the dinner table. At a certain point, that has to stop. And the way for him to do it is to beat the door down. If he can pop a little bit here and all of a sudden maybe he grabs another one and then starts feeling some confidence and okay, well now sort of like, him or Savoy, right? If he's producing and Savoy, although he's playing well, isn't necessarily yet. I'm not saying he's going to do it. That would be the pathway. Beat the door down. So far, he has not been able to do that. Okay, that was our takeaway segment brought to you by Chandos Construction. Brownie's going to be ready to join us in a minute. Before we get to break, and we'll have Brownie hopefully on the other side of the break, want to get to our De Boers Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Get fit now before you get out your shovels and ice chippers. Get fitted while you still have your summer swing. The TrackMan bays, ready. The deals are hot. Go down, check out their pro shop style atmosphere, 5311 99th Street. Here in Edmonton. Zuby, what do we got tonight? Some people on the stream were giving the poll a little love. I saw multiple people say, great poll tonight, Zuby.
All right. Well, that was very kind of them. Well, I hope we
Ginny.
Yeah, that's right. She's not home yet, so I don't know.
Oh, Ginny.
Oh, Ginny.
So the poll question tonight, I said, what was tonight's most encouraging development for this team going forward? I said 97 gets off the schneid. Jake Walman's return and goal. Howard scores, Savoy buzzing. I put those two together. The young guys making an impression tonight. And the fourth option was Steady Stu Skinner.
All right.
Those
like
are your
it.
choices.
Those are
and
good options.
It's pretty even. It's pretty even.
Really good.
Yeah. All right. Look forward to the results of that. Okay. When we come back, Rob Brown, the one and only. We'll check in. He'll break the tie between Struds and I. Nothing else matters after a turnover? No other mistakes are possible on a goal? None of them matter? I'm interested to hear what Brownie has to say about that. So Brownie will break the tie for us. Brownie Points, Struddy's World. Ask us anything, take a lap. Lots still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse Developments.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
So many personalities this show has. You want 70s retro funk? We can do that. You want a little 80s style? We can rock and roll that way too. Bringing you all our custom themes. Nice job, Zuby. I'm coming at you from our custom Timberhouse studio out here in our Sherwood Park studio. Timberhouse truly is a customized building experience. They're not like other builders. You want to build a house with them? You want to go check out the job site? Go ahead. You're welcome out there. Want to go see how the build is coming? Stop by the office. Try their fabulous coffee. It is Timberhouse. As we say, good evening to Rob Brown. Oh, Zuby. There's the picture. We're good to go. All right.
He's here. Yeah, we're good.
Now, okay, so let me ask you this, Struds. Zuby just made a mistake there. It was a bit of a tough one. If I make a mistake between now and the end of the segment, is it Zuby's fault? Does it matter now that the core mistake has happened? Or are we responsible for anything we do for the rest of this segment now that Zuby's made the mistake?
Did the mistake lead to ruining the entire segment?
Well, it's sounding like it might.
No.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
You're not even comparing. Oh, Brownie, you're not going to believe it. But it's not even comparing the same things. He made a slight mistake. Didn't ruin the segment, as far as I can tell. The one I talked about did. Very different.
See, I feel like I could basically. I could do anything on set now for the rest of this segment, and it will not matter. The blame will not be on me. Struds, I'm going to let you tell Brownie what the discussion was about, because people will just accuse me of trying to skew the description. So I'm going to let you describe this, and Brownie can be our tiebreaker.
Yeah, we're just talking about the power play goal against tonight for the Ottawa Senators. Evan Bouchard goes back and gets it inside his blue line. On his forehand, he could turn the middle and fire the puck all the way down the ice with that massive shot he had. Instead, what he does is he turns and throws a puzzle up the wall. I think it was a Rubik's Cube for either Ekholm or Nuge to figure out. They aren't able to handle it. 2 seconds later, Dylan Cousins walked down and hammers a shot away. My point to Shagar, I said that was the key mistake. The only mistake that matters in that moment is Evan Bouchard not getting that puck down, because it was such a basic play that D-men should be able to do when they're killing penalties, that anything happens after that is irrelevant.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Struds. In my Brownie Points tonight, I talk about that exact play. That is all Evan Bouchard's fault. 100% it is. That's a simple play. You have the hardest shot in the National Hockey League. You're on your forehand, hammer it as hard as you can around the boards. He tried making a play, I think, but that is a really poor play by Bouchard that ended up in the back of the net. So I don't know what you guys argue about, but in my opinion, the only mistake I saw on that play was Evan Bouchard, and it was really, really bad.
See, Struds, did you want
next
to talk?
topic?
I don't want to interrupt you here.
There's nothing else. It's just next. Let's just move on, because it's not even worth discussing.
But you didn't make the point. You didn't. So Struds said nothing else mattered after that, and I said I felt Ekholm could have done a better job on the wall with the board battle. Got caught on the wrong side and beat to the middle of the ice. I didn't think Ekholm looked good there, and Struds said nothing else matters after Bouchard makes the mistake. No other mistakes matter. The only one was Bouchard. And I was like, there can be multiple mistakes on a goal, man.
Yeah, but in that instance, everybody's expecting the same thing. They're expecting Evan Bouchard, who's got time and space, to rifle the puck down the ice. He didn't. So to me, I didn't look at anything else other than the Bouchard play as well. That was an easy play. You can lose a battle. All kinds of other things can happen, but none of that would have happened had Bouchard made the simple play. So I'm on Strud's side on that one. And I talk about it in Brownie Points. That was a really, really poor play by Evan Bouchard. And that, to me, when you show it on video, that's the only thing you're showing video of in the dressing room.
Gord Parch says Schauger might need to get another show with different guest hosts if he wants to win any of these debates.
Listen.
Cool.
Don't take this the wrong way, Schauger. I killed penalties. I know what coaches are looking for and not looking for in that moment. And so this one, I would have bet the rest of my hair on this one that this is the correct answer. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's roll the intro to Brownie Points and move on.
All right, Struddy's producing tonight. Roll the happy music for Brownie Points. One other good comment. Mars Boy says Schauger should replace the B on his shelf with an L. How dare you blasphemize my Bell Bravo award?
Hurts. That hurts.
Goodness sakes, that did hurt. This whole segment hurts. It is time for Brownie Points, and that is brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. The 2025 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year. Visit your Alberta Ram dealer to get into this award-winning truck at a competitive price, capable, stylish, powerful Ram. And maybe, Brownie, you've made your point on the Bouchard thing. If you go over it all again, the Bouchard defenders are going to think we're saying he had an awful night because we've been talking so much about him. He didn't have an awful night overall. We've talked in quite complimentary fashion about a few things that Evan Bouchard did tonight, but with that, Brownie, have at it.
Well, I'm going to continue with Evan Bouchard. We're going to go on with, I got -2 to Evan Bouchard and his game management tonight. In the second period, the Oilers are leading. I think it was 1-0 at the time. Ill-advised pinch, giving up a 2-on-1. You got to understand game management. You do not pinch if you do not have a back checker there backing you up. And then in the third period, to start the period, they're killing a penalty. He's got all the time in the world to ice the puck. Those are two game management decisions by Evan Bouchard. He's a better player than that. He's a much better player than that. But two decisions like that almost cost the Oilers tonight. I got one brownie point to Oiler rookie Ike Howard, who scored his first NHL goal tonight. But he's not getting the brownie point because of the goal. He's getting the brownie point to the fact in his first shift, playing with either Leon or Connor, he scores a goal. He's an offensive player. He's a pure goal scorer. If you want to see what he's capable of doing, play him with top 6 players and do not bury him on the fourth line. You're not seeing what Howard's capable of when he plays fourth line minutes. I got -10 brownie points to Oilers' Trent Frederick. It has been a very, very slow start to the season for Frederick, and tonight was another quiet night for the big man. If you're not scoring, if you're not being physical, if you're not causing chaos, you have to be good other places. On the Thomas Chabot goal, Thomas Chabot and David Perron played give and go. Frederick has one job as a winger. I know that. It's the easiest position in the world. I could excel at that position because you had one guy to think of, the defenseman. Chabot throws the puck down to David Perron, and all of a sudden Trent Frederick skates towards the boards, towards Perron. That's not his guy. Perron finds Chabot at the top of the slot. Chabot fires the puck through 5 different sets of legs, but that play should never have happened. Trent Frederick has to be in the shooting lane. He wasn't. That's a mistake by Frederick. I got two brownie points to the Oilers' depth young players. Howard and Savoy came up with 2 huge plays in the game. Howard's goal and Savoy's winning draw. The Oilers' best players haven't been as good as they usually are, and they're going to need depth players to contribute. Tonight, the 2 young kids did. Hopefully that will garner confidence going forward. In the final one, I have 35 brownie points to the Oilers getting some good puck luck. The Senators did a fantastic job killing the Oilers 4-on-3 in overtime. And we're about to kill the entire penalty off. With 5 seconds left, Thomas Chabot was icing the puck, which would have turned it into a 4-on-4 until there was a whistle. Huge momentum swing for the Senators in overtime. Unfortunately for the Senators, Linus Ullmark's helmet came undone, which made the referee blow the whistle. which gave the Oilers a face-off in the offensive zone. They win the face-off. The puck goes to Walman. It goes in the net. That is good puck luck to the Edmonton Oilers that certainly needed this at the end of this road trip. And those tonight are my brownie points.
I love it. Digging into the nitty-gritty details of the game and the little things that happened along the way. Great episode tonight of Brownie Points, even if he was on the wrong side of the argument. Time now for Struddy's World. Roll the animation, Zuby.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
Kayla Weethorn saying, great job as usual, Brownie. Kayla, always such a breath of positive, fresh air on the show. It's time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Body Realty at Royal LePage AR Team Realty. Buying a home's a big decision. They will guide their clients through the complex process with expertise, care, and unwavering support even after the keys are handed over. Their clients say they truly make you feel like the only client they have. Visit bodyrealty.com. That's BHATTI realty.com. Jason?
I look amazing in black Calvin Klein underwear. Have for years. In fact, the only problems I've had have been accused of being too sexy.
What are you doing?
So I've had quite a few pairs. I built up quite a large collection of it. That's all I wear. I don't wear anything else, just black Calvin Klein underwear. So the other day I go into my drawer and there's like 3 pairs in there. I said to my wife, what's going on? She's like, well, I had to get rid of some. I'm like, why? She's like, they're old, but I have a large roster. It's not like I have one starting pitcher. I probably had 12 to 15, maybe more sets of underwear in there, and they're rotating. So you start doing it, you're only getting worn maybe once or twice a month. So it really spreads it out. Anyways, I get over that thing that really fired me up. And she goes and buys me some to replace them. She comes back extra large. Anyone who knows me well, I like to wear large, just slightly tight, just to hug the buns a little tighter. I couldn't believe it. I said to her, would I go and buy you a different size bra? I mean, this is a size I wear. It's large. I know it's large. So now I had to go back to the store, return these extra large ones. They don't like taking underwear back, trust me, but I sweet talked them and I got large in the right size of fit. So now my roster is back up to about 15 or 16. And I specifically told my wife, don't ever throw any of them out. You can throw socks out, t-shirts, tight jeans, whatever you want, but let my CK underwear, black underwear, just live forever. I don't know if you guys have that problem with your wives, but this has been on my mind for like 48 hours. I've been on fire about it.
Oh my God. You know, Chugger, I'm sitting here driving home, and there's always an expectation of what Struds is about to start talking about. I gotta be honest. That one surprised me. I was a little surprised by that one. And then I got a visual, and I didn't want the visual. And now I'm also thinking the poor girl that had to take the underwear back, she's like, oh, so you're not extra large, Mr. Strudwick. You're just large. Take back your undies.
I like them to fit a little tight. When I go walking around, I'm like to my wife, like, hey, especially when I'm walking out of the room, like, my eyes are up here, babe.
Okay. So the minute you started texting and chirping Shona, I mean, it's only fair for her to have her say. Like, it's only fair. I mean, we're not looking to embarrass anybody here, but I mean, I basically said, why did you throw out all of Jason's underwear? Like, what's the real deal here? And she said, because the ass was blown out of them. Not sure how he didn't have chafing. So she is suggesting they were destroyed.
I just like a good baseball manager, I don't wear my underwear out. Just like pitchers, I don't wear out their arms. I spread it out. I swear I probably had 14 or 15. You wear them twice a month. Even if you're doing that, have them for 10 years. Do the math. Some of you guys probably wear your underwear, you wear them one day, then you go inside out, then you turn them backwards, maybe upside down, whatever the case. I respect them.
Upside down?
How do you wear them upside down?
Well, I've met some people, but anyways, at the end of the day, she doesn't respect it. Doesn't respect my underwear collection, and it's always the same. One time, she tried to bring home blue ones. I'm like, I don't wear blue. Would Johnny Cash put a blue jean jacket on and walk around? No, he's black. So am I.
Oliver Lawson Tossum coming over the top says, what about throwing out that plaid shirt from the dinner party?
Oh, good one. Good call.
Like,
Yeah,
while
that
she's
was the
getting rid
worst.
of
Well, Zuby blew that up, made it look like my head looked so small. I looked like Beetlejuice. A well-dressed
Never
Beetlejuice.
mind your head. Never mind your head. The picture could have been headless. The shirt, the shirt is the shirt. Like, never mind your head. Nobody look at the head and just look at the shirt. If Shona wants to get proactive about throwing stuff out that has no place out in the world, this is where she should have started.
Fits me like a glove. I love that shirt. But it's not. I'm willing. That's if she wants to live part with that, I can live with that. But when it comes to black CK, don't touch my CK underwear. I'll tell you that.
Gordy Parch says, Struddy, you could have named your price on those undies. Marketplace would have shut down from too much traffic. That is gross. That's gross. That's just not good. Kayla Weethorn, I hate when anybody throws away anything of mine without asking first. And every day underpants is definitely something I got to pick out myself.
Thank you, Kayla.
Sue wants to know if your underwear is the same age as your pillows, and also I'll add to that, is your name written in your underwear the way it is on your pillows?
Yeah, no, there's already Calvin's name in there. I don't have to put my name in as well. And yeah, I probably had some underwear that was I bet you I had some that are 8 to 10 years. Guys, my roster is huge. Do the math. If you wear them twice a month times a year, that's 24 times. I mean, how many times can you wear underwear before they go bad? Like, we're probably in a few hundred here when the rotation's that big, right?
Well, I don't think Shona's looking for excuses to throw things away, Struds. So she clearly saw something she didn't approve of and did what needed to be done. Like, what would her motivation be? She's not trying to cause problems for you. She's not trying to throw away good underwear.
I think she is.
I think maybe your standards are not high enough.
And I used to go to the Bay. Now the Bay's not there anymore. So I had to go looking in other places, and she went to other places. Like, it was a disaster.
This is a good point by Allison. That adds wear and tear if you wear them in the sauna, Struddy. That adds the humidity.
No, so I don't like being naked in my steam shower. So I'll have a shower naked, but when I have a steam, I put workout shorts on because I don't want to ruin. I never work out in my CK underwear. Never. I have different underwear for that.
This is a tangled web you're weaving here, buddy. I don't even know what's going on in that head of yours. Smitty the Welder says, my wife just seen that picture and she is laughing. So are we. Great episode of Struddy's World, brought to you by the Body Realty Group. Can't believe Harm has to pay for that segment. He's actually paying money to represent the content in that segment, Struds. You owe him you owe him lunch or something.
I bet you Harm wears the same ones as I do. I'll check him out. I'll take a peek next time I see him at the gym.
All right, let's keep it moving here, guys. We're going to dive back into some more Oiler content. We'll get to our core adjustments segment here, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you need a safety program, they build it. If you need it managed, they do that too. If you're stuck dealing with those online safety registries that your clients make you sign up for, they will handle those as well. And yes, they also do core audits. They can get it all done for you. If you own a business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. At www.hsecor.com. That's hsecor.com for more info. Struds and I spent some time, Brownie, talking about Ike Howard's development, his progress, and where the organization sees this going in the next few weeks. Obviously, injuries have helped him out. But Chris Knobloch talked post-game about the opportunity that they wanted to give him and that they're going to continue to give him here. So, Brownie, what do you see in terms of the way Howard is being deployed, and what that might look like here in the coming days and weeks as a couple players remain out?
Well, I think we all thought that if the Oilers were fully healthy, he would be going down to the minors. It's the easiest one because he doesn't have to clear waivers. I've always been a guy that put a player in a position where he can have his most success. He's a goal scorer. He was brought here to be a goal scorer. He's brought here to be a top six player going forward. We saw tonight he gets one shift playing with Connor and Leon, and he puts the puck in the back of the net. He's not getting those opportunities playing on your fourth line. He's not getting enough ice time. It's hard when you're a goal scorer. You want to feel it. You want to be feeling good about yourself on the ice. You want to have that confidence. But when you're getting a shift and then it's 8 minutes later, so you get another shift, and you might be starting that one in the neutral zone. You're not getting offensive looks. If you want to really see what Ike Howard is as a player, give him some minutes with Connor and Leon. Have Connor and Leon, one of them, every once in a while, flip down and play on the fourth line. So at least Ike Howard gets an opportunity to show what he's capable of. The one thing, though, I did like, and I don't know if you heard Howard after the game, he said once that puck went in, he goes, after that, I felt like the puck was following me. I just had all this confidence. And that's what you have with a young player. You score a goal, you start feeling better about yourself, but better about your game. Next game, I would not be afraid to throw him up either with Nuge or throwing up with Connor or Leon, but allow him to showcase what he's capable of in this short time while you're missing Hyman and Captain and Yanmark.
Struds, where do you come out on potentially elevating him, trying to give him a positive bounce off of this moment he had tonight?
Yeah, I think, there's an opportunity. And I Brownie, just so you know, I spoke a lot about how are you going to get him more ice time. So, he's no power play, no penalty kill. So you have to find it more and you have to move up the lineup. And that means you're pushing someone down. So is it Mangiapane coming down, Nuge coming down, I guess Savoy or someone on that part, Coles, and whoever's in that top, because Hyman will be back at some point. But yeah, maybe after a night like tonight, maybe give them that opportunity, because when you look at the team they're facing, guys, it's a pretty young team they're facing on Thursday. And maybe that's an opportunity to put them up against other guys that at times can be, maybe a little bit make some youngish type mistakes.
I don't think it's a fit with McDavid and Draisaitl, though, guys. Go ahead, Brownie. Go ahead.
Here's one thing when it comes to with Howard. We've seen Roslovic for how many games now? 4 games, 5 games. What has he played now for the Oilers? Have we seen a lot of offensive pedigree out of him yet? Mangiapane, who I like, coming into tonight's game, I think he'd only had 2 shots on net in 6 games. And that's because he's scored on both of them, but that's all he's had offensively. So why are we hiding Howard? It's not as though Roslovic and Mangiapane are knocking it out of the park offensively in the top 6. So that's where I'm like, give him an opportunity. And you know what? You don't have to play him, say, all right, you're playing all 60 minutes up here, but there's chances for you to throw him up there and play in a situation where he can excel. He is a pure goal scorer. That puck was on and off his stick so quickly. He stopped in the slot. He understood, I need to make a passing lane for Leon Draisaitl. I'm going to put myself in the best position for him to get me the puck. Those things you can't teach. Those you're born with. So to me, there are other players playing ahead of him in the lineup that aren't giving you what you might be able to get from Mike Howard.
Really fair points. My only concern is, God, they're bouncing these lines around so much. And I know he always does it and the players are used to it, but it just feels like, man, find something and let it breathe for a little bit. And I don't like Howard with McDavid and Draisaitl. If he wants to keep playing 97 and 29 together, Podkolzin's there for a reason, right? Howard, although it didn't work, or not Howard, Frederick was there for a reason, although it didn't work. Hyman does work for a reason. They need someone, Brownie, to go dig pucks out, and that's just never going to be him. There were a couple of offensive zone puck battles. He was not even in the vicinity battle level-wise.
But that's not what he's going to be on that line. He's going to be a pure shooter. And I don't care if you put them with those two. Put him with Nuge then. Put him with Mangiapane and Nuge. Because right now, Mangiapane and Roslovic and Nuge aren't creating at all. So why not give a pure goal scorer a chance to play? And eventually, Leon and Connor are going to split up. At that point, you can put a pure goal scorer with one of those. I think Leon would be the better fit for Ike Howard. But I just think you brought him here. You traded for him because he's an offensive player that can score. Why not give him an opportunity to show if he's capable?
All right. Some great points. That was Core Adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. Struddy, you got your notes ready? Let's take a couple laps around the league now. Brought to you by Riverside Motorsports, your multi-brand motorsport dealer serving Edmonton for over 55 years, offering a diverse selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, snowmobiles. Man, they got everything. OEM parts and accessories as well, located just off St. Albert Trail. Check them out online as well, www.riversidemotorsports.com. What else was going on out there tonight, Struds?
Brad Marchand, the Florida Panthers, returned to Boston for Marchand's first game as not a Boston Bruin in that building. And they had a really cool video tribute for him. And he actually teared up. He was on the bench. It was a long tribute for him. And then he jumped off the bench and kind of did a lap, and he was tearing up. I thought it was a great moment. Obviously, it shows how much he cared and was so proud to be a Boston Bruin. I think the tribute videos have gone a little bit carried away. I actually think Calvin Pickard got one when he returned to Vegas. He was their first pick in the expansion draft. But this is one that is very fitting. And I like that moment for both the fans and Brad.
I think they needed it, Strud. I think the fans needed the opportunity to show their appreciation to Marchand. I mean, he got traded at the deadline, so you don't get the goodbye and everything. Marchand was the face of that franchise. He and Bergeron, what they did there throughout his career, he was a captain. So I think that was fitting. And I watched a lot of that game tonight too. He played very, very well. A big reason that the Florida Panthers were able to win there was the play of Brad Marchand going back home to Boston.
The Olympics are going to be interesting. They're going to be interesting, Struds, because I was at the Four Nations, and I have to say there were times where it was like, oh, can he keep going at this level, this caliber, absolute best on best? And he did find some moments, but I'm keeping my eye on Marchand this year as it relates to the Olympic team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're getting close, right, to figure that all out, and people are auditioning as we speak. Next up, kind of a cool idea here. Here's two teams that have moved from their original places. And on Thursday, the Avs and the Canes will be playing each other, except they're going to wear their retro jerseys, very retro. The Canes will be in the Hartford Whaler jerseys, and then the Avs will be in the Quebec Nordiques jerseys. And I'm not a huge, I like the Whalers jerseys. I love the old Quebec Nordique jerseys. So it'll be neat to see these two teams go at it on Thursday. And just for that alone, be worth watching, not counting the skill and quality of those teams.
I agree. I think it's a really cool idea, Strud. I saw that. The Nordiques were one of my favorite teams. I loved it when the Stasies were there. I loved their uniforms. I played for the Hartford Whalers. I hope for the Carolina Hurricanes' sake that they get to wear the white Hartford Whaler jerseys, because I wore the green and green helmet, green shirt, green pants, green gloves. It was too much green. So I hope they wear the white ones. But I think that's a fantastic idea. I don't know if the NHL came up with or the teams came up with it, but I actually will turn on that game to see that. I think it's a really cool idea.
And lastly, the Vancouver Canucks have got a lot of injuries. Teddy Bluger, Niels Höglander, and now Hedl is out as well. And so according to Darren Dreger, they're going to be looking around, snooping around for a second-line center. They're hoping, according to Dreger, that Hedl would be able to hold that spot and stay healthy. Obviously, he's now out with some challenges after the big hit from Tom Wilson. Darren goes on to talk about one of the challenges they're going to have. There's a lot of people looking for second-line centers, including, I think, the Carolina Hurricanes. They can maybe be a little bit more patient. So I'm not sure if I'm the Canucks, if I'm going all in to get a second-line center. Dreg says maybe they had a depth center somewhere down the line. And, I was wondering, guys, if things work out for some of the young players, I wonder if Janmark might be a guy that if the Oilers decide to make some space, would that be a guy that Canucks fit? Now, it's rare to trade within your own division, though they did it with Kane already. So maybe that's a door they can both walk through.
I just don't think him being a difference maker for the Canucks. I think he'd be a nice depth player. You know what they should go after? I heard that the Rangers got this kid Miller that's a really good centerman that could really help the Canucks. I think he could be a difference maker.
Yeah, for some reason we find ourselves needing a center.
I don't know why.
I don't know what's going on there. Lastly, Struds, I'm just going to add one element here before we let Brownie go. Anthony Stolarz. Leafs lose 5-2 tonight. And he let in 3 in about 3 minutes and a couple that weren't ideal tonight. Brownie, what do you think, buddy? Everybody needed solid performances tonight to kind of quiet the storm that was created by him being so vocal. And then a pretty subpar performance by all accounts here tonight from him.
Actually, I saw the guy that he cut down, Nylander. I thought he had a couple of really nice plays in this hockey game too. To me, again, it was something you never go public with. You just don't. That is something. If you want to call someone out, you do it in the dressing room. You do not do it publicly, because what it also does, it puts a bullseye on you, for the fans, for the media. Like, we're talking about Stolarz right now. He would have done it in his dressing room. No one would have known about it. He would have got the point across, and all is good. But you go publicly, now you open yourself up for criticism. And I think it was wrong when he did it, and probably karma got him tonight.
Could have used a big night tonight, hey, Struds? Like, back it up tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. When you call out teammates publicly, it's tough because the pressure's on you to deliver. The Devils are a pretty good team, but yeah, I don't know. I think the sequence was wrong. The players downplayed it around him. But I think now it's over. He's had a rough outing apparently, and he'll get going.
All right. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports. And with that, Rob Brown, your work for the evening is done, my friend. Thank you for this. And let's all hook up again after the Canadiens and Oilers on Thursday night, and preferably not discuss each other's undergarments.
Yeah, I prefer that too. All right. Night, everybody.
See you, buddy.
All right. See you, pal. Nice job. Rob Brown. Not joining us for a long time, but a good time. Those brownie points tonight were fire. He brought up a few things that definitely very notable within the game. One last commercial break. When we come back, we'll go over our scoreboard, ask us anything in our play of the day as well. So get your comments in here. Zuby is collecting the best of them, and we'll run through that. Lots more ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse Developments.
Riverside Motorsports is your ultimate multi-brand dealer. With a massive lineup of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles, all under one roof. With Alberta's best selection, a huge parts and accessories inventory, and a fully certified service department, Riverside has everything you need to ride. Family owned and serving Edmonton for over 55 years. See what they have to offer in-store just off St. Albert Trail or online at riversidemotorsports.com.
Tonight. Really solid audience tonight on the live stream. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. We're going to let this retro theme breathe a little.
You are an absolute horrendous dresser. Is this guy blind? I hope you have a great day.
Pretty much drop that in anywhere in the show and it makes sense and is a favorite here on Got Your Back. Time now for our scoreboard, brought to you by The Bridge Sports Therapy, offering a comprehensive approach that extends beyond temporary pain relief and focuses on developing long-term strength and resilience, with clinics in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Lethbridge, opening soon in St. Albert. Learn more at thebridge.fit. I was in there again today, Struds, and I gotta say, buddy, it's getting easier. Got the old groin needled again today. And yeah, Karen, she didn't take it easy on me. She'd stick that thing in, and then they twist it until the whole muscle fires, and then she cackles. But she knows it's working, that's why. So we're making progress over at the Bridge, buddy.
I love it. I love it. They're on the right track. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah. Sweating, though. Just sweating, knowing the needles are coming. And it's never as bad as you feel like it's going to be. She takes great care of me, but yeah, making progress. What do we got tonight, buddy?
For the Take a Lap? Or
Nope.
sorry,
Scoreboard.
Scoreboard. My bad. Yeah, sorry.
Scoreboard.
No, I gotcha. Okay, let's start with
Nothing
the
else
Penguins.
matters now. That was a terrible mistake. Nothing
No.
matters from this point forward. Go ahead, buddy. That was brutal.
The Penguins tonight, Justin Brazeau had a 3-point night. He has 8 points. Who's Justin Brazeau, you ask? Yeah, I think a lot of people are running that. He has 8 points for the Penguins so far this year, and they're winning. They won 5-1 over the Vancouver Canucks. A pretty awesome moment for them. In the Maple Leafs game, they lost 5-2 to the Devils, and Jack Hughes had a hat trick in that game. A couple others little notes in here for you. The Capitals, they win 4-1 over the Seattle Kraken. The Oilers will be playing them this week. In that game, they had empty netter by Tom Wilson, so he continues to go on. And then Matthew Schaefer, 4-3, the Islanders win over top of the Sharks tonight. A lot of young players in that. That was like a very young one. Macklin Sedabrini scored in that game, and Schaefer did as well. Ended up being the game-winning goal for the Islanders with Matthew Schaefer.
Yeah, that guy, man, it feels like he's gonna get 95 points the way he started here, man. Like he's
Shut out of a
in
cannon.
everything, every game.
It's so much fun to watch, and I've been saying it for a while. They needed more dynamic players. Now they got lucky. This was, lucky that they got this draft pick. But between him and Barzal now, there's some dynamic play there. And I've talked to a couple of people close to the situation. They have some other young dynamic players coming. So this team, what they look like today, I suspect will look much different, this time next year. And they'll be going the right direction. So Matthew Darsh get his first chance as a DM. Yeah, he got lucky. There's no doubt about it. But I think he's going about it the right way as he goes around and builds his team, including one of the hard decisions to trade away Brock Nelson.
All right. That was our scoreboard brought to you by the Bridge Sports Therapy and Training. Getting a groin needle sounds terrible, says Canadian. And not as bad as it sounds. It's more kind of in the side of the leg. Somebody else saying
Feels so
needling is awesome. You've had it done, right, Struds?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It feels so good because the muscle tense up and then it just relaxes. You're like, oh, and you walk out of there, your muscles feel like a foot longer. If you are tight, go see them. They will get you loosened up. It feels so much better.
Needling is the best, says Allison 941. Kathy says, I've also had enough groin needle updates. Mixed reviews on the groin needle updates, but I'm feeling good. All right. Zuby, why don't you hop in here, buddy? You had a great poll tonight, a highly complimented poll presented by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Where did the result end up, my friend? How is Oiler fan feeling?
I don't even care about the results. I just like the compliments. It was complimented at a rate of 56%, so we're just going to go with that. No,
perfect.
The question tonight was, what was tonight's most encouraging development for this team going forward? Walman's return and goal, 34%. The winner there, Howard scores, Savoy buzzing, 29%. Steady Stew, 19%, and 97 off the schneid, only 18%. I think people kind of expect, they expect he's going to come around. So I understand that coming in the last spot. 350 votes. Great stream here tonight. Having lots of fun. Lots of fun on a win night. Everybody's in a good mood.
All right. Love it. Great poll tonight, Zuby. Well done.
Thanks.
Time now for our Ask Us Anything segment brought to you by Mainline Water and Sewer, your trusted choice for over 40 years.
That would be Maria.
Oh, we got Maria tonight?
On Ask Us Anything.
Yeah, sorry. Mainline is the play of the day. I've made a terrible mistake. Thank goodness it doesn't matter. Thank goodness it doesn't matter. Because Strud's had that screw up before. I'm clean. No one's even going to remember this happened. Mortgages by Maria. Rates are falling. The market's heating up, and that means opportunity. She has the lender connections and the strategy to get you more options than the bank ever will. Don't settle for average. Check out mortgages by Maria.ca. All right, Chris, get us back on track here, buddy. Struds and I are fumbling this thing all over the place, and you've been gold.
Oh, well, thank you. This is pretty funny. Sarah had it. This actually came from the Struddy's World segment, but then Gord Parchewski chimed in with something else. She's got an idea for making Tuesday nights TMI Tuesdays since we got into groin needling and underwear. So if we ever wanted to do a theme night, we could promote it. Everybody tune in for TMI Tuesday.
I like it.
All right, let's get to some questions here. Know It Oil says his feeling talking about Isaac Howard. He says you can't overdevelop a player. Howard is better off playing big minutes in the AHL and coming up later in the season and playoffs. That's certainly a line of thinking that I think a few people are in line with. Do you agree with that statement, though, that you can't overdevelop a player at this stage of his career, Schauger?
Yeah, I don't know, Struds. Can we think about guys that have been hurt by being left in the American Hockey League too long? I feel like you'd be hard pressed to find guys. If anything, it's being rushed along is the bigger risk. So they're going to let it breathe here with Ike Howard for a little bit, and we'll see where they go with this longer term. I don't know, Struds. Anybody get stuck that you thought deserved to
Yeah.
be up and it just never panned out?
Yeah. I mean, if you're good enough, you're going to find your way up, right? And so I just think they, right now they have time to make the decision. And Ike is a smart player. Obviously, maybe between now and when Hyman comes back, let's say Hyman, there's 3 weeks from now. I'm just going to arbitrarily pick that number. So in 3 weeks, so 10 games, let's say, can he show enough to now move up the lineup and be, a difference maker or a guy that can contribute regularly? Well, maybe. But if not, the easiest choice is to send him down to the minors to grow. So there's really no rush. I don't think they feel any pressure here. They'll let it play out. But he is growing. He is learning what the NHL game, travel, the commitments, all that, what it feels like. And that is valuable in and of itself.
Brenny A bringing up Roslovic. You guys talked about him a little bit. He wanted to know your thoughts, but he also added, or she, I think Roslovic probably has a pretty long leash given he had no training camp. What do you think of his game to this point? Do you agree with that statement that the leash is going to be long for him to contribute offensively, Struddy?
I think so. I think that missing training camp is hard. There's very few players that have missed training camp that have really looked really good. Trying to find a role for him, or not a role, but like a fit for him, and how's it all go? And, it really is interesting how he has that 4-team trade clause kicking in November. Like that really kind of caught me off guard. And I wonder, guys, and I'm not running him off the team, but, could Oilers maybe they decided we're going to sign you and then we're going to maybe flip you and get an asset back. Now, it's not a first rounder, obviously, but it'd be something. And they don't have a lot of assets, and that could be a draft pick, and maybe they could parlay later. Again, I don't think it'd be a top 3 round, but maybe a 4th or 5th round pick, right? Like, so I don't know. I'm not, again, I don't want to run him off the team, but just thinking ahead, if they do have too many bodies, maybe that's a guy that there's a plan there or an opportunity for both parties to make it work.
Well, and maybe the agent was talking with some other teams about potential contracts, and maybe teams that they knew had interest in him, even when because I do know there were a few other teams sniffing around a little bit. Maybe those are the teams where there is a level of interest. And maybe it has to do with the opportunity that would be there for Roslovic after Hyman's back, based on where the kids are at, right? If Howard and Savoy are getting lots of minutes and the Oilers are like, look, our intention is to develop these young guys in these spots, then maybe it's an opportunity to make a move there. But they need what he does. They do need what he does, and they're going to give him some space to try and get back to doing what he does. But he's probably running out of runway here. Time to get some stuff going here in the next 2 or 3 games for sure.
I'm not sure how deep you guys went on this, but I'm going to bring it back. Clarence Tang asked, what did we think of Pods on the top line with 97 and 29?
Made plays. Like, puck didn't die on his stick. There were a couple of passes, guys, that got snapped over to him hard, and he just manages them. He's got good hands, the ability to hang on to passes at a caliber these guys want to fire him around out there. I thought when McDavid and Draisaitl were ready to elevate their game, Struds, he didn't get in the way at all.
Yeah, he's what they were talking about. He's kind of like a bumper, right? So he gets it and throws it back, or goes and gets it and throws it to those guys. Like, he understands his role really well. He's got to keep working on the finish, getting open. What Ike Howard did, if he could find more opportunities to do that and finish, he'd continue to get more of those opportunities.
Not all positivity tonight. Calvin Bess suggesting the Oilers, are soft in front of the net. I'm going to tie that together here with Sue, who said, do you think Skinner should be more aggressive in protecting his crease, especially while blinded on that second goal? And Noel Rinsky also adding that Louis DeBrusque had, I thought, an interesting comment as well on the broadcast tonight, saying, there was 2 Senators, back to back almost in front of Stu on that second goal. And he was suggesting Stu initiate the contact. What do you guys think of that concept, or of the general concept of the team being too soft in front of the net, Struddy?
Well, you always want to see competitive play in front of your own net and clearing guys out. And that was an opportunity to clear people out. But you do see a lot of goalies working into that contact and then pushing off the person. And that seems to lead a conversation towards that was, goalie interference. So I respect Stu for not doing that. I don't like when goalies do that, but that seems to be becoming more the norm as the blue paint seems to be going past into the white paint where players can go and stand.
Zuby, from a positional standpoint, would he have been better further out, or was he where he felt he needed to be to front that shot the way he wanted to, and he wasn't going to overthink it by creating contact?
Well, I mean, I think he felt he was right at the tip of the crease. You know, he was right at the fringe of the crease. So I think he felt like he was probably in a good spot. I'll put my glove on a guy and just to have him feel that I'm there. I don't know. I do like the idea of initiating the contact a little bit, because then you kind of control the contact, not to flop, like not intended to flop, but just to kind of let a guy know you're there. You could just kind of control it a little bit by initiating it. Maybe you get a call. I don't think Stu did anything wrong there, but it's a different way of thinking about that particular play, I guess.
Tells me he's trying to keep it simple. Just focus on the puck. Let's not overdo it. Don't overthink it. Don't try and draw penalties. Don't overthink it. He was trying to keep it simple tonight. And I thought he looked that way for a lot of the night. Just really solid positionally. He made some really good saves.
And not his fault at all. I mean, that redirected and went in the corner. Yeah. And, if he were out the 6 inches or 8 inches further, I don't think it was going to make a difference on that one. But he might have been able to pick it up.
Couple more, buddy.
Okay. Here's an interesting one, kind of some insight. Actually, this is really good because you guys can come at this from different angles. Polly says, what's it like on the plane for media and players? Does media have to tread a little lighter after a loss or a losing streak? What's your most memorable trip on a team plane? So you guys could come at that from different angles, but that's a fabulous question.
Yeah, great question. I've never traveled with the team. They fly on a charter, and I'm not a rights-holding member of the media, so like the guys from Sportsnet, Louie and Gene and Jack, they would generally travel on the charter with the team. But when I do travel for games, I'm not on the charter, and I never have been before, Strud. So maybe you can fill us in. What's the media's role on that plane after tough losses? Pretty chill.
Yeah. Reading the room, right? I think they have to read the room. And I don't ever remember having an experience where I felt that a member of the media was, having too much fun after the team, maybe lost a big game. I think they, when you're around it, just like you are, Schauger, and the guys are there every day, you get a sense of the team and what they're trying to do. And I think there's a respect for, the group. And if they're struggling, you kind of respect that. If they're going well, then it's a little bit looser, both in the dressing room and on the plane. So, I got to say, I was hundreds of flights with media members and always very respectful. And oftentimes, there is always food on the plane. So, I think that generally speaking, there's some people that sprint to it, both players and media, and then everyone kind of just mingles. Like I never felt that there was like players first, media second. It was just like it's there for everyone. And I think there's a real respect there. They're all humans, right? It doesn't matter what your role is. You're all humans on that plane, and you can just share the food that's set up once you get on there right away.
Was there ever a flight, Struddy, that you got a little wild, or is there anything? You don't have to give all the details or names, but was there ever one you landed, you go, that got a little out of hand, or not really?
Like the drinking. Yeah, well, not really. I mean, the odd time, I guess, but usually, we all have our cars at the airport. So you'll, maybe like a lot of times, especially when I was younger, I would drive with older guys to the rink, and so 4 of us would be in the car. So maybe I'd have a couple of drinks, but I wasn't a big drinker on the plane. I just didn't really see the point. Maybe 1 or 2, because you're just going home. You're getting home at 2 or 3 in the morning. Like I don't want to feel like crap the next morning. So it was pretty rare. Even over my whole career, I could, maybe once or twice, but no, it's pretty calm on there.
You need both hands to be able to knit properly on the plane too. So you don't have a free hand to sip the beer with, Zuby. One more, buddy. You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. I got a nice comment here. Rory Urama said, I look forward to Got Your Back more than the actual game on game day now. Good work, boys. Very kind. Very kind.
Wow. Thanks, Rory.
Oh, that's kind.
We appreciate you.
And one final question here. This is another good one. I love going off the board a little bit, especially with sports crossover season at its peak here. Noel Rinsky says, which one of the 4 major pro sports championship game would you most like to attend in person? And maybe if saying hockey's too obvious for this crew. Maybe we'll narrow it down to 3, or if you want to expand it and say, the World Cup or, something else as well. But think about the four major North American team sports.
Yeah, like I don't want to drop like I'm the coolest guy, but I've been to a lot of sporting events in North America, so that's probably not on the top of my list. Never finals and all that. So I've been to one. I'd like to go to something I've never been for. So one thing would be like the world, like the rugby. I think that would be neat to be seen. The World Cup is one definitely I'd love to be a part of. Or even something random, like not random, but I'm sure there's a world championship of cricket, and just go and sit there not knowing what the hell's going on. Like I'd love to do something different like that.
Yeah. Ryder Cup. I'd love to be at a Ryder Cup. That'd really be something. I've covered some PGA Tour. I did the U.S. Open at Shinnecock in 2004 or whatever year that was. Ryder Cup would be pretty amazing for me. But yeah, Cup Finals is the only one I've done. Haven't done World Series or Super Bowl or any of that stuff. So if I had to pick between the North American ones, I would probably say Super Bowl just for the sheer spectacle of the thing.
And the funny thing about that is that the Super Bowl would be lowest on my list just because you don't have a home team. Like that's to me, you're right about the spectacle, the halftime show and all that. But what I want to be a part of is the energy of a home team with a chance to win it. And in the Super Bowl, that's taken right out of it. And having been to a number of Grey Cups, which is fun, is fun, and it's a well done event. But that's what I always feel is kind of missing from that. And it's surprising for how few teams there are in the league, and the Grey Cup always moving around, how infrequently there's been even opportunities for a team to win it on their home field. Although I think Winnipeg did it in this last run, I believe. Anyway, I'm out of the loop on that, but that's my opinion on that.
All right. By the way, Olympics, there's nothing like going to an Olympics and watching Canadians compete for gold medals. I've had the pleasure of doing that a number of times. That by far my favorite place to be covering sports. All right. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Maria Gallus, Mortgages by Maria. All right, buddy, time to wrap up the show, and I'm excited about this play of the day. Brought to you by Mainline Water and Sewer, your trusted choice for over 40 years, specializing in sewer line replacement and expert water line repair. Slow drains are a sign it's time for attention, and aging lines can cause backups. Their trenchless method is quick, low impact, and often finished in a day, complete with backflow protection. Visit mainlinewaterandsewer.ca. Zuby, you got the screenshot ready?
I've got it, yeah.
Did you see the news? Yes, Settlers of Catan. The world of Catan is coming to life on Netflix. Oh, yeah. From your board game to your television set. The Rishaugs are fired up about this one. So they're developing a slate of scripted and unscripted projects inspired by the hit board game, says the release. They'll be the first ever screen adaptations of the global phenomenon in which settlers navigate vast landscapes, forge shifting alliances, and compete for scarce resources as robbers roam the land. Anyone who has played Catan knows the intense strategy and negotiation at the core of the game has endless opportunities for some serious drama. This in from Ginny Howe, head of scripted series US Canada with Netflix. We knew landing this deal would be as game-changing as a well-placed settlement. So we decided to pool our resources across series, feature animation, and game shows. My fellow Catan nerds, this is big in our world, Strud.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's as awesome as Sidney Crosby scoring tonight and becoming the all-time leader in points for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But whatever. I mean, I guess everyone has their own highlight of the day.
I just hijacked that segment from you. Yeah, that's a good one too. Fair enough.
Don't worry about Sid. More than Mario, whatever. It's fine.
Whatever. All right. Great show tonight, guys. Love the energy. Love the energy on the stream tonight too. Everybody was so good. Calvin Bess chiming in at the end says Struddy for the win. Struddy got a couple of big wins tonight. A couple of big wins for Struddy tonight. I'm going to have to reevaluate a few things. Let's do it all again after the Oilers and Habs on Thursday night. Big thanks. Zuby, great job. Thanks to all of you and to our fabulous sponsors, including our title sponsor, Timberhouse Developments. I'm going to go lick my wounds. We'll see you soon.
That was classic at the end.